All right, trying something out with this stripping action. I'm getting down to like my last half a gallon of aircraft stripper, and I don't have too much left to strip. The biggest thing is this hood, so I'm gonna try this trick that I've seen a couple people do it. And you just put that, you know, that automotive plastic on it, on top of a bunch of your stripper. And you just keep moving that stuff around. It keeps it from drying out so fast. You push all the air out of it, you know, and then you use less stripper, and you just massage it a little bit here and there. You kind of see how much it's going. That's where I first put it down. So we'll see if this is a little bit faster, maybe. You know, we'll see. But yeah, I've got a cardboard or thin paper down, and this piece of plastic's rounded up all the way underneath it. So I'll scrape everything off into that plastic and wrap it up, throw it away. It'll be fine. It'll be just fine. Anyway, got the trunk lid sitting on the car, basically. Yeah, everything lines up pretty good, looks pretty good. There's details to fix on it, but hey, so does the rest of the car. We'll check back with you guys in a few. All right, I'm going to show you guys something really quick. The time you get done stripping and you take a big abrasive, like super coarse, you know, Scotch-Brite pad. This is what I like to use after I'm done scraping, and it kind of goes over and it really cleans it all up. But of course, this is what's left, you know, and this is just the residual paint. And I, of course, filled up my kitty litter thing with hot water, washed it all down best I could, scrubbed it with a rag, just to dilute that stuff, that stripper. Well, then I go with some reducer, any kind of old cheap reducer, and you know, you can use a 3M pad or a piece of steel wool, and just put it on there. It comes right off, and then wipe it off with a towel, and you end up, you know, pretty much down to this primer. And of course, we'll get it all done and do some investigating and see where my damage is up here, because we got damage. Got Bondo. Got Bondo right there. There's some right here. There's another extra hole that I found right there that had Bondo in it. There might be Bondo here, you know, and a couple little nicks in places that I saw. So this is going to be a little pings right here. We'll see what else. I'll show you here in a second. Well, sometimes you get a little surprised. You know, again, kind of like the roof, there's no hail damage that I can, you know, that I can find just on top of it. And there's a couple little, I don't know what these were. If there was something in the paint and it didn't want to come off, but I can't even feel it. But one thing I noticed on this side of the hood is, if you hear, that's the top, this top layer hitting the bracing underneath. Now on this other side, it just kind of barely does it. You know, so, and what it is there's usually caulking, or like, you know, it's sort of like a seam sealer put in places between the hood and the bracing so that it doesn't do that. Well, that stuff, after 60 years, however old this car is, that stuff gets hard and dried, and it pops out, comes out. So before I do too much beating this hood around, what I want to do is flip it upside down on its top, and then find, you know, bar stools or whatever I can find to get the weight off the center of it, and I'll put something on all four corners to get it elevated so that the top of the hood is hanging down, if that makes any sense. Then I'm going to clean up and recaulk all that stuff and let it set up, and you know, that way I don't cause damage from working on it, you know. And that way it won't flop around anymore. I won't cause myself any high spots or any more work. But we do have a rust hole here, a couple little rust holes here, and we might have one right here. I don't know yet, but this underside lip looks really pretty good. We got a little Bondo right here, and this feels high right here. So, and there was a little bit of Bondo around here, but I really can't feel anything. And there's a little bit of an imperfection kind of right where that point is. And I think it's just from where the hood was made, the little stretch marks, kind of like I showed you on the trunk lid. So I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal, really. You know, the hardest part is going to be fixing this right here and this. Anyway, let me get the hood flipped over and show you what I'm doing there, and maybe you'll get some of this cut out and see what's up before them Pumpkin Holler boys get here, because it's, you know, it's Sunday after all. Alright, well, here's what we got. Of course, this is our old seam sealer. It's hardened up and all that. This is an installation pad, and I believe it's pretty necessary, but you can get these, you can replace these, to keep the heat down on the outside so it doesn't, you know, discolor the paint maybe. I don't know. Anyway, lots of wire brushing to go, lots of cleaning up, soaking with rust mort, clean up, no rust through on the inside that I can see. And then I'm just probably gonna mix me up some Pour 15 and spray it right on here. Then flip hood over after I've you know, resealed my little cushion seam sealer stuff, and then flip it over and fix the rest of the hood. Who knows? All right, got some catching up to do. Got the everything stripped down. Got some holes. There were small rust holes. These two were actually nicks in the paint, and they eventually rusted through. So they're really small. They're not rusted bad weren't rusted from the inside out, in other words, which ends up making a little rust hole really big. So I've got one on each corner like this, and these are a little bit bigger. I'm trying to keep them as small as possible. Gunk and stuff build up inside here, and mouse crap and all that. So I've got my pieces numbered, so I'll take my little X-Acto knife here and I'll cut that out, cut each one of them out. You'll put it on that piece of sheet metal laying on the floor right over there, and cut them out. That way I'll know right side up for each piece and where each piece is going. I'll get them all done at once. I'll go through and weld them all, get them all cut down, flush as I can get them, Duraglass them, get them bonded up. I'm trying to see if I can't get this hood and primer tonight. It might be a long night, but that's okay. You know, it's a couple days before Christmas. I'm sorry. Anyhow, I think I was telling you guys I had a little bit of an issue with the hood. You know, tonk 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 tonk. You know, like a tin can kind of thing, a little more on one side than the other. And I didn't have any damage in it, but the reason was the sealer. You know, it's like seam sealer they put between the bracing and the roof panel itself was most of it was gone. It dries up and falls out, and you know. So what I did was flip the hood over, and I, you know, put it on a couple, like 4 old bar stools, so that the weight was on the outer edge, and the top of the hood would go away from the bracing. I cleaned it all out best I could, got it all prepped up, and all I did was shoot some liquid nails up inside there, all on the sides of this side, so when the hood's open you're not really going to see it, and it still looks pretty nice. So and it's done the trick. And of course you see it, I got it all prepped up. It looks pretty nice. You know, it looks like some really good automotive paint, and believe it or not, that's Pour 15. Alright, battery's dying. I'll get right back with you guys. Alright, hey everybody. I'm going to see if we can get this hood knocked out. Got it's Christmas Eve. I got an early start. Got the garage warming up. The big lights help too, believe it or not. Got my metal patches in and Duraglassed in with just a little bit of Bondo on them, and I'm going to glaze this whole front. There's a hole there. There was a hole here. Found out that right here was a bit of an accident. Right here on the nose was a bit of an accident at some point. And there's some imperfections all through here. There's my other patch, metal patch in there. There's one down in there. Of course, it was all beat up on through here. So it feels like I've got a little bit more blocking action to do down here. Then I'm going to skim this whole thing, let it set up. While that's setting up, I'm going to get back to DA and the rest of it. See if we can't get this in primer on a Christmas Eve. Then I got all the family stuff to go do later. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't. But I'd like to get this video done and this hood done. That's for sure. I'll get back with you. Alright, well, all the bodywork's roughed in. And I use the term roughed in because every time I think it's done and I get it primed, there's imperfections. So I'm just not going to worry about it being absolutely perfect because it's not going to be. Anyway, got all DA'd down. That's just a little bit of the old black primer. There was some red stuff on top of it that was like, it just kind of balled up. It was a real bitch to get off. This, you know, I think I'm good here. So got her all masked off, stood up, wiped down, blew off. We're ready to go. Let me get some primer mixed up and I'll show it after I get done. Alright everybody, hood's primered. I skipped some steps in showing you, you know, it's because it's a couple days after Christmas Eve. I got my body work done, got some primer on here. It turned out a little bit rough because I've got water going on, and I didn't have a new one of these. Thought, well, you know, I'm running out of time. I didn't have time to go get one. And of course I screwed myself and gave myself a little bit of work having to block all this rough shit out because it gets real rough and you get water in it. I've got plans to replace this cheesy thing, or at least add another bigger one in line with it, and take care of that problem hopefully. Anyway, I know this video was a little bit short. Like I said, the time I had to work on the car, I just wanted to do it. I didn't have, you know, it takes time to do the video stuff and all that. So, but you know, all the major body work's done. All the major body work on this car is done. It's all roughed in, it's all primed. Cody, in another video, had started doing a little block sanding and stuff, and he did a really good job. So I'm going to finish it out, you know, and do some repriming, you know, and get it ready for wet sand at some point. You know, so I've got something accomplished. It's accomplished. You know, the major step. It took me 1 year and 4 months to tear this car apart, fix all the undercarriage. Every corner of the car, if you look back in the videos, is rotted out, full of mouse crap. All the inner rocker structure, floor braces, this whole back end of the car, you know, the trunk braces and everything. All the holes in the doors, reconstructing them, the fenders, the quarter panels, the hood and the trunk. 1 year and 4 months to get to this point. You know, and a lot of you guys, probably half you guys that watch my videos are, you know, you're seasoned professionals, so you know what a bitch that is, and when you're doing stuff at home on the weekends and all that, that's a pretty good accomplishment. For you guys that are just interested in doing something like this, I want you to know you can definitely do it. You can pull it off in a 2-car garage with some cheap tools, and you know, and a whole lot of determination to get it done. You know, but don't think it's going to happen overnight. Don't think you're going to have it done in the summer and be driving it down the road. It's not going to happen. Anyway, another piece of good news. I want to finish this video out because this video camera is getting replaced. Santa Holly, I'm going to call her. She's my fiance. She got me a really nice video camera, and I've got to get a few things for it and see if this memory card will work in it, and I want to get a bigger one anyway, and yada yada yada. So the next video is going to start out with that new camera. I'm really super excited about it. I was really amazed by my Christmas, and hope you guys had a really good Christmas too. I got a really cool TV from Cody and Dylan. They pitched in and got it. I went and picked them up the weekend before Christmas, and we got stuck in Ice Palooza of 2016, and took us 6 hours to get back to northern part of Indianapolis from Columbus, Indiana. But it was an adventure. You know, I got to spend some really good time with them. You know, I spent time with my future in-laws on Christmas Eve, and my mom came. You know, sort of this big family sort of thing. So I had a really good Christmas, and I hope you guys really did too. We're gonna get this thing done. We got to get this car done. And I'm gonna do it right, but it's got to get done. I can't mess around anymore. You know, first part of May, Lily Joe will be coming into the world, so I'm not gonna have a whole lot of time for stuff like this. I want to be able to enjoy this car, just drive it to work and down to the store, and you know, whenever I get a chance to drive it around and enjoy it. If something breaks, I'll fix it, but other than that, I just want to drive it, you know. And this old house I've had for, I don't know, close to 10 years now. The next project for me is fixing it up so we can sell it. You know, that's just pretty much the plan, and that's going to have to be how it's going to happen. So pay attention to, you know, hopefully by May, we're going to have this car painted, back together, and driving down the road. A lot of work to do. A lot of work. We'll see you guys on the next one. I sure appreciate you watching, subscribing, giving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't care. If you don't like it, thumb me down. I'm good with that. I can understand. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.